Welcome to Mediafy channel. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up.
10 things most humans can't do. We all have one weird friend who seems to be capable of doing the weirdest things ever. However, there are some impressive and also repulsive things a select group of people can do. Welcome to our channel, and today we'll be presenting you with 10 absolutely weird things that most humans are unable to do. Stay until the end to find out which one's the weirdest ability a human has ever presented. And now that you're here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to receive more fantastic content like today. So, let's begin with the first place on our list. 10th place, the Gorlin Sign. When kids are in kindergarten or preschool, they tend to prank each other by showing who can touch their chin with their tongue. Most kids are unable to do that, though a few of them eventually grow up into adults that can touch their chin with their tongue. You can imagine that most people's tongues aren't able to reach down that far, though around 10% of the world's population can actually extend their tongue to reach down to their chin. This weird ability even has a scientific name, known as the Gorlin Sign in medicine. In an even more dire turn of events, 50% of the people with the inherited connective tissue disorder, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, can do this. This was named after the pathologist Robert J. Gorlin. This ability has an even bigger and more disgusting brother, touching your nose with your tongue. Ooh, talk about a long reach. 9th place, licking your elbow. If you've ever watched iCarly as a kid or with your children, then you know that licking your elbow is a very difficult feat to perform. Not everybody can do it, but a few people can if their body lets them do it. Some people suspect that the ability to lick your elbow is due to a specific set of physical characteristics possessed by fewer than 20% of the world's population. They would need to have the exact length of short arms, flexible shoulders, and a long tongue. If they meet all the requirements, then they'll be able to lick their elbows. 8th place, sneeze with your eyes open. Sneezing with your eyes open isn't only extremely weird, but it can also hurt your body and eyes if done carelessly. The body works to rid its airways by sneezing when it detects irritating particles in the nose by automatically shutting the eyelids when a sneeze occurs. More irritants can potentially be prevented from entering and aggravating the eyes. That's why sneezing with your eyes open isn't only unnatural, but it can end up being dangerous for your body. Many people wonder if sneezing with your eyes open can kill you or hurt you, but only if those parts and muscles holding your eyeball get diseased and loosened, which then, in spite of closing your eyes, they may fall out because of the pressure and muscle weakness caused by the diseases, as well as severe endocrinial and thyroid issues. So, while it will not necessarily kill you in most cases, there's a very low probability that it could. 7th place, tickling yourself. Most people can't really tickle themselves because our brain is prepared for these type of reactions. A part of the brain called the cerebellum monitors our movements and can distinguish whether sensations are expected or unexpected. Since it is trained to predict sensations when an action is caused by our own movements, but not of someone else's, if we attempt to tickle ourselves, our brain prepares itself for it. In short, the brain prevents us from self-tickling. However, some people have an inability to distinguish self-initiated actions due to some changes in the cerebellum, especially people with schizophrenia, which are able to tickle themselves. Since their brain is impaired, it cannot prepare itself for the tickling, and people with such impairment can easily tickle themselves with no problem. 6th place, putting your leg behind your neck. A disappointing fact to know for most gymnasts is that despite how much practice and devotion you put towards your flexibility, not everyone has the body structure to be able to put their legs behind their necks. It greatly depends on a lot of different things: the shape of your hip joint, the orientation of the joint socket, the torsional angle of your thigh bone, the laxity of your ligaments, the postural tension in your lower back, and the flexibility of your connective tissues and muscles. Some people have hurt themselves trying to do this, so if you're naturally unable to do that, do not attempt it at home. 5th place, gleeking. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Gleeking is an advanced tongue movement that most people in the world are unable to perform. Gleeking consists of a projection of saliva upon compression of the tongue, and it occurs when saliva accumulates in a part of the mouth called the sublingual gland. The saliva is then propelled out into a stream when the gland is compressed by the tongue. In essence, the saliva is being shot like a pressurized bullet towards other people, who might not find this very amusing. Gleeking may occur spontaneously due to accidental tongue pressure on the sublingual gland while talking, eating, yawning, or cleaning the teeth. Gleeking can also be induced, for instance, by pressing the underside of the tongue upwards against the palate, then pushing the tongue forward while simultaneously moving the jaw slightly forward. Most people require a lot of practice to be able to do this action, and most of the affected by the propelled saliva won't be happy to be pretty much washed in spontaneous spit. Hey, now that we're halfway through our video, we just wanted to remind you to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell notification to be alerted whenever we put out new content. You won't want to miss it. Without further ado, here's the rest of our video. 4th place, Hitchhiker's Thumb. Known as the Hitchhiker's Thumb, some people are born with a double-jointed thumb that allows them to bend it backward. For these people, doing this isn't painful at all, and there's no risk in hurting the thumb's functions. Though other people might be terribly hurt by doing this, and we wouldn't advise them. Now that we've arrived at the top 3, stay until the end to find out which ones are the 3 weirdest things that not many humans can do. You'll be surprised to find out which one's in 1st place. 3rd place, fitting your fist into your mouth.
Oh, that's so weird!
Fitting your fist into your mouth comes in at 3rd place of our list as one of the weirdest abilities possessed by humans. Simply, if your fist is too big or your mouth is too small, you won't be able to do this even with practice, or you might end up hurting yourself without knowing it. Most people can't put their entire fist in their mouth, since a human's hand is usually a lot bigger than the opening of their mouths. A few people are able to do this, however, simply because they have small fists and big mouths. 2nd place,
I looked squarely at him, certain I had his attention, and then I wiggled my ears. My wife told me not to say that. He made a vain attempt to do the same, but I had him.
wiggling your ears. Most people can't wiggle their ears without using their hands, which kind of defeats the purpose of attempting to do that without touching them. Only 15% of people can do this. That's because around the human ear are tiny, weak muscles that once would have let evolutionary ancestors pivot their ears to fro, but today the muscles aren't capable of moving much. 1st place, rolling your tongue. Rolling your tongue is by far the weirdest ability there is. As silly as it might seem, it's not easy to roll your tongue effectively unless you were born with the ability to do so. All aspects of a person are in some way influenced by genetics. Likewise, the tongue structure or its movements is controlled by one's respective gene pattern. Tongue rolling consists in the ability to roll the side edges of the tongue upward to form a tube-like structure with it. The tongue rolling ability occurs due to the influence of a dominant allele of the gene. The person who has either 1 or 2 copies of the dominant allele will be able to twist their tongue. In the case that a person is born with 2 recessive alleles, they cannot twist their tongue. For that reason, rolling your tongue is by far the weirdest ability possessed by humans. Well, what did you think of these extremely rare human abilities? Not only are they very uncommon, some of them are very disgusting. That's why our senses are used to watching someone do things that it knows it can't, making most of these abilities quite distasteful to observe. Anyway, what did you think of them? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to leave us a like if you enjoyed our video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel to receive more fantastic content like today. We hope you enjoyed our video, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for visiting MediaFi channel. If you like this video, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you will be notified when we post new videos.